Hi YouTube, I'm Haynesworth902 and this is my brother Jim. So, and today we're going to be discussing why DICE should continue the Bad Company franchise for their Battlefield games.
Yep. Overall, Battlefield Bad Company 2 was one of our favorite series. And overall, we thought it was a fantastic game, and it has gameplay mechanics and features that are greatly missed in the modern Battlefield series. While we do think the modern Battlefield series are great games, there's definitely some things that can learn from Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. And to start off, we really felt Bad Company had smoother mechanics for console gamers.
Definitely. Playing Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4, I always felt the aiming felt a little wonky. And I think the main reason is the aim assist was implemented poorly. As there's a lot of times playing Battlefield 3 and 4 on consoles where I'd aim at a guy and the aim would either snap on so much it felt like I wasn't even shooting him. But there's also times where I felt like the aim assist wouldn't snap on at all, and it just felt awkward. And overall, the inconsistency of it really made it hard to develop a good flow for the shooting. Where I feel like in Bad Company 2, which had more consistent aim assists, you could develop a good flow, good tempo, and you could definitely feel when you were on your A game, where Battlefield 3 and 4 it felt a little bit more random.
Yeah, but we understand that DICE's community is mostly PC gamers, and that's why Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 didn't have as much as smooth mechanics. But, DICE still has a console community, and we really felt that they should have implemented the smoother mechanics.
Yeah, exactly.
Our next point is the reason why we felt the multiplayer was better in the Bad Company series was because of the balance when it came to overall gameplay.
Exactly. If you drop into a match of Battlefield Bad Company to do today or even back in the day, you could see people using all different types of classes. There'd never be like an entire lobby filled with all assault classes. You'd have what it felt like equal amounts of recons, medics, engineers, and assault rifles. And overall, they all seem to bring their own sort of advantages to the battlefield. There was no dominant class.
Yeah, and when it compares to Battlefield 3 and 4, we really felt that it felt a little bit lopsided, and we felt there was too much class overlap, that there's no kind of distinct advantage/disadvantage of each class.
Exactly. So if I played an engineer in Battlefield 4 compared to the new medic class, I honestly didn't feel too much of a difference in gameplay. Overall, really the only difference was one had a more powerful weapon destroying vehicles and one could heal people.
Oh, yeah.
Where in the way the weapons were designed in Bad Company 2, they felt a lot more distinct and they felt like they're all very more situational, allowing different gameplay between the classes.
Yeah, and it wasn't only the classes and what the classes can do, it was also the guns in the classes, and we really felt that there's no distinct weak link when it came to certain guns, or there's this super strong weapons. Like in most FPS, it's ARs and SMGs, but in this one, we felt that you could also use the LMGs, the shotguns, the snipers, the pistols, and the launchers. And we really felt that there was a great balance there, how you can use the generic ARs and SMGs, but you could also use all other sorts of weapons, and it really kind of brought a different flow of
Yeah,
gameplay.
no, Bad Company 2 is awesome. If you wanted to, you could make your guy strictly a rocket launcher-based killing machine. You just take the M2 Carl Gustav, he gets the perk that give you the most rockets possible, you hang out next to an assault guy, and you can use the M2 Carl Gustav as your primary weapon. It was so much fun sniping people across the map with that thing. And overall, while it did give the engineer a primary weapon, I felt like it took enough skill, and the rocket launcher was so unwieldy that you would most likely only be using that instead of the SMG.
Oh yeah, totally. But also, not only did it have great balance when it came to classes or guns, I felt the perk system really had some meaning to it.
Definitely. When you chose a perk in Bad Company 2, it definitely changed your gameplay. You noticed it. If you picked the damage perk, you noticed you were killing people quicker. The generic Juggernaut perk, you noticed that you definitely took enough hits. The shotgun perks turned yourself into a totally different beast. I mean, you could take the Sega shotgun, gets the full ammo for it, get the get the extended mags,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it just turns it into a different weapon, and you could just decimate the battlefield and play it like it was a Halo game. I'd run around and just blow people up left and right with that thing, and it was amazing because it just felt like a different game after playing it, and it felt satisfying, sort of figuring out that combination.
Yeah, we felt in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 that we felt like the perks weren't that kind of, they didn't really make a distinct difference. We felt like it was just kind of small.
Yeah, I mean, Battlefield 4 didn't have perks. I can't even remember if Battlefield 3 did. But Battlefield 4 had a system. If you did well in combat, you got like these mild perks that you didn't even notice 90% of the time. And also, too, the attachments in Battlefield 4, while there's tons, being a casual gamer like myself, I can't even tell what 90% of them do, It seems like 70 different variations of the same grip, where Bad Company 2 Simple applied it. I mean, they had all the scopes. I mean, you had like the 1-time scope, the 4-time scope, the 12-time scope, and it was very easy to figure out which one was in the best situation. Where Battlefield 4 feels like it has so many attachments and stuff, it's a little overwhelming, and none of them really feel like they make an impact towards your gun.
Yeah, we felt like it was just like they had all these sorts of different types of overall, when it came to concepts, whatever it was, attachments, perks, guns, classes, whatever, we felt like the impact was just so like small that it really just couldn't dictate a battle. It was more so just it wasn't a main factor.
Definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel like a really big one, and I feel about a Battlefield Bad Company gamer versus a regular Battlefield gamer, I think the biggest difference is the map destructibility.
Oh yeah, definitely. Battlefield 3 was very disappointing with map destructibility. Overall, the way the maps are designed, there weren't a lot of destructible buildings, and there's plenty of structures that were invincible. Battlefield 4 fixed that a little bit. They added a few more destructible features, but the problem is with it is that since not everything was destructible, you could never really use it completely to your advantage. Like, it never felt natural to blow through a wall in a house, where in Bad Company 2, since there's so much stuff to blow up, it felt natural, and you can develop your whole gameplay strategy for it. Now, being a pro gamer, of course you can do that, because you're a beast, but being a casual gamer, it's nice to have that ebb and flow, where the map stays consistent. It isn't like, oh, you can blow up this, but this still stays the same.
Yeah, we really felt like the map destructibility should have more of an impact on the gameplay, because that's what made Bad Company great, and I really feel like if they want to do what they want to do in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, because I'm guessing a lot of people like what they did in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, we just felt that Bad Company should have that map destructibility so we can have that beauty that we all loved. Okay. The next thing we thought were infantry. We felt had better mobility, and it felt infantry had a little bit more strength, and they could do a little bit more impact.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually based on how the infantry was designed. I think it was the map design itself. A good map example for Bad Company 2 that's great for vehicles and infantry is Panama Canal.
I love that map.
Overall, the way the map is designed, it has a lane for vehicles where they can easily access each one of the points.
Oh, yeah.
Not as easily as the infantry. Infantry can definitely take more side routes, but if you want to take a tank to a point, it's easy to get it anywhere. And if you want to avoid the tank, there's houses on each side of the lanes and little nooks and crannies, as well as boxes that you can go and hide behind her to avoid the vehicles, so you can take them out or just move on to the next base. And overall, since the vehicles weren't always in full light of the infantry, the vehicles didn't always have the advantage. But there's also sections of the map where the vehicles did have an advantage if the infantry were crossing lanes. Overall, I felt that made that there's more styles of gameplay. Now, note what this goes through Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 seems to have some maps that are just designed for infantry, and some that are just completely dominated by vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Like Gold Mud Railroad, it feels like you have to get into a tank or you're not going to have any fun. And that map is also so big, to get anywhere, you need to take a vehicle. Of course, there's some places, like that small town, where you can have an infantry battle, but it's very, excluded. So if you want to play infantry, it's like, I have to play in the town. I can't go to this base or this base. And it's just kind of an annoying experience where Bad Company 2 never had that. Overall, the flags were closer together. They had areas that were both designed for infantry combat and vehicles. So it made it so you can just choose how you wanted to play, and each version of play was satisfying.
Yeah, we just felt like the concepts in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, there was just an extreme emphasis on one type of strategy, where Bad Company was more of like a balance. There might be a little bit of a change, but we really felt like it wouldn't actually like change it too much. We felt it kept its beauty.
Yep, definitely.
Now, I feel one thing about Bad Company and compared to Bad Company series to the regular Battlefield series is the weaknesses when it came to it. One of the big weaknesses in Bad Company were OP helicopters.
Definitely.
They lack equipment and spawn camping. That might be debatable, but we really felt those things are easier to fix.
Yeah, Bad Company 2 definitely had OP helicopters. It's one thing that Battlefield 3 and 4 definitely improved upon. There's more way to deal with air support so it didn't dominate the game. Of course, Bad Company 2 had ways to deal with it, but it was a little bit too high of a skill base. I mean, shooting that helicopter with that tracer dart wasn't as easy as they made it look in the trailer. And while they did have anti-infantry guns, there weren't as many scattered across the battlefield. Where Battlefield 4 definitely fixed that, where they have the anti-air tanks. They have a lot of them on the map, a lot of anti-air guns. So air support doesn't dominate. Also, Battlefield 4 did introduce the Stinger missile. While it makes sense in a modern war sense, I always think the Stinger missile is kind of lame.
It is. I felt that especially when it comes to like shooting down a helicopter, we believe there's some skill there. And I liked it. And me personally, in Bad Company, I was the kind of guy that knew how to shoot down the helicopters without the tracer darts. I could do it with an RPG or Carl Gustav. But really, it should have been easier so other people could do it also.
Exactly. If you're a good helicopter pilot, that shouldn't dictate the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
Now, note, if you're playing casual, it's usually not a problem, but I can definitely see in the pro circuit the helicopter getting out of hand.
Yeah, and the only issue, one issue I definitely realized was the equipment in Bad Company. We felt that it needed more equipment because I had a friend that unlocked everything by level 22, and the maximum levels is level 50.
Yeah, I kind of actually disagree with that. I feel like it had just the right amount of equipment.
Okay.
Note, it'd be nice to have a few more items, but I felt like each equipment was distinct. There wasn't clones of equipment, so it wasn't like you were just unlocking trash.
True.
Which I feel like that's what you do 90% of the time in Battlefield 4. Like, I don't know how they make any money selling battle packs. It's like, do I really want like 17 different types of grips that all do slightly different things? So, overall, I mean, yeah, maybe a few more impactful items, but I don't need crap like weapon skins or like the same version of the grip 17 times over.
Yeah, you really don't need that little mild, small change. But in my opinion, I feel like there is a way you can do it. But anyway, next topic would be spawn camping. Now, this was me personally. I felt like if your team just kind of sucked, that there was no kind of way of coming back. Like, once you lose all 3 points in the first minute, there's no comeback. There's no like kind of grinding it through.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit on that.
Oh,
I guess I am a Battlefield Bad Company 2 fanboy, but I feel like if you get spawn camped, you kind of deserve to die.
Fair.
Like even if your team sucks, and occasionally there's that time where you do get the spawn camp off, and it's a little bit fun. I take a little bit of sick pleasure killing the same guy over and over again.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think when it comes to Bad Company, I think the weaknesses are a lot easier to fix. Now, when these are also our own personal, what we think is weak, the weaknesses in these games. Battlefield regular series 3 and 4, the weaknesses are a lot harder to improve. Like poor balance between vehicles and infantry.
Yeah, once again, a lot of this is map design. Overall, there's some maps that are just favor vehicles, and the whole map is you camp in a vehicle. You can't do anything with the infantry. Of course, they do offer the materials to destroy the vehicles, but sometimes the way the maps are designed, it's kind of hard to get to them, or they can stick themselves in a place where they're just kind of broken, and they can just blow the crap out of you. overall, the vehicles are also a bit more powerful in Battlefield 4. I kind of actually like that. I think that makes them really fun to use.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, I like how they have different versions of alternate fires, or they have these boats with all these guns on them, and you can just wreck a team with them if you have a good team with you.
Totally. Awesome.
But I can also seem to see the frustration with how they just have too much going for them.
Oh yeah, totally. And also, I just felt like the infantry, they definitely kind of died down. They kind of weakened the infantry, and so the vehicles seem a lot stronger.
Exactly.
So, also, one thing about Battlefield, the regular Up series, is how the guns felt, how the shooting felt a little bit too clean for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's unrealistic, but because Bad Company 2 was a lot more unrealistic with the guns, but a lot of the guns didn't feel like they had enough oomph to them. They kind of feel a little bit too clean, where a gun in Bad Company 2, when you shoot it, like a shotgun, it will explode in your face. All the snipers are 50 caliber, well, not all of them, but there's a few that are 50 caliber monsters that have a great sound to them and feel like they're just going to destroy anybody they hit.
Oh, yeah.
Where in sniping in Battlefield 4, the snipers just kind of feel like dart guns.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit. They don't really feel powerful. And they're not really all that fun to use.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I felt like a Battlefield for the regular, we already talked about this, it was the aiming system momentum, and that's really hard because you basically have to make two different games where you have to make one for PC and one for console, and that could be very hard. But another, I think a bigger reason is map design, and we discussed that a little bit already on how we felt like how the lanes worked and how it felt one was just more to vehicle-based maps versus infantry-based maps. There wasn't like slight vehicle emphasis versus slight infantry emphasis.
Exactly. And I think that's really all the points we wanted to make today.
Yeah. But overall, we still think Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 are great games, and they should definitely continue them. We just feel like they should also continue Bad Company.
Yeah. One thing that's nice to see, like after watching the Battlefield 1 trailer, it looks like they're bringing more destructibility to the game,
yeah, totally.
The way the maps are designed. There's going to be more skill-based aircraft kills because you can't have lock-on weapons in World War One. And I think the weapons are going to be a little bit nastier too because it is World War One. And I think us as gamers and the gaming community are really kind of looking for that. We're really tired of this futuristic rattle gun that they have in all the games.
Yeah, little PP shooters and all that. And overall, also one thing that we like about Battlefield is the water maps and the vehicle variety. We think that's a really cool.
Yeah, that was definitely too. The water maps in Battlefield 4 were very nice and a lot of fun to play as. I want to see more boat combat.
Yeah, I know boat combat is great, and that would be awesome. All right. Well, thanks for watching our video, and please rate, comment, subscribe. See ya.
Okay.